late. Traffic lights. The movie time was 7:15. It is 7:47. There was a lot of traffic in the local area, and I was getting a lift anyway, but a lot of traffic. There's a match at Tottenham, that's why I live near Tottenham Stadium, like 10 minutes down the road. We're going in a different direction to Tottenham Stadium, but still got stuck in some ridiculous traffic, unfortunately. So because of that, I may miss the start of the film. I'm sure there were like 25 minutes adverts, but that's still missing like 10 minutes of footage. That's annoying. This is about the American photographer who photographed the war in World War II, about Nazi crimes and other things. Very important story, and it stars Kate Winslet. So I'm sure it's going to be a great, well-acted movie, and I hate missing the start of any film. But traffic is traffic. We tried to take a different route, and the route was actually, it took longer. We should have stayed on the same route. But regardless, let me get in. Luckily it's in screen free, so I can just go, it's near the entrance. But yeah, here's me rushing, and there's like barely anyone in the cinema. Fantastic. Let me go in, tell you my thoughts after. Unfortunately, I'm going to miss the start.
But I did find some butter today.
It's a bit windy today. Yeah, so the film is about Lee Miller, an American photographer. She was a model in America, then she moved to Paris to do fashion photography, I think. So I don't know if that was in the film or not, because when I went in, she was in Britain living with her husband, and she was photographing things during the Blitz and stuff, and she tried to submit some photos into Vogue magazine, I'm fairly certain, of the Blitz and other things. She wanted to go to the front lines in Europe to go and really capture what was going on in World War II. So it involved, obviously at the start, the Blitz was going on. She was in London photographing that, and it shows like her life, like her personal life, and her life trying to capture these, what she's trying to do, trying to capture these photos. Then she eventually heads to Paris, where she finds some very gruesome and awful sights. She has friends in Paris too from working there, so she finds some very bad things that affect her on a personal level. So it's a very emotional story too, and fantastic acting from Winslet as well. She's incredible in this. And then towards the end, she goes to Germany in 1945, so towards the end of the war, to try and capture certain things. So there's not much like battle sequences. There is one or two, but most of it is just capturing the aftermath and what happens to people, like the Holocaust. There were some very awful things you see, and she's basically photographer taking photos of it to like show people like this happened. And if you look up her name, you can see the sort of photos she took. But in terms of this film, it's really well filmed, really good way to document this, and it really shows you how horrifying it was out there, you know, like what the Nazis did, all that stuff. It's just terrifying, and it affected her on a personal level too, because obviously she cared about these people. She wanted the world to know that these things happened, and despite the fact that certain people from the magazine didn't want these photos published because it was too gruesome, the people needed to move on, people didn't need to see those things, but she kept fighting to get those photos approved, and it's just a story about that basically. The ending did surprise me a bit in terms of like, so the movie is like she's being interviewed, so you see her in her old age and she's being interviewed, and then you see the movie as she tells the story. So the final scenes are back to her old self years after the war ended, in an interview, and the way the interview ends, I was just like, oh, I was not expecting that. And at the end you see like what happens to characters, etc. I don't know how much I missed, to be honest with you, but I saw the most important parts. I did see most of the film, but I don't know if I missed like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I can't really tell. But yeah, if you've seen the movie, when I went in, she was like wearing blue paint and doing some sort of photography session. That's all I remember from the start. But the rest of it, I was there for all the main parts and most of the film. It was a really good film, really well acted, and obviously based on a really sad and awful thing. And it's, you know, it's important for correspondents like that in war to capture these things, so we know what's going on, we know what's really happening. And yeah, her photos are very important, that's for sure. Not sure about the bathtub one. I still don't understand the importance of that particular photo, but apart from that, yeah, a great story about a great person, and a lot of emotional things about her as well. So yeah, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was very good, very emotional as well. So I didn't want to be late. It's just that I don't know what Tottenham are playing. Normally, like every season's like there's European competitions, Champions League, Europa League, Conference League. Whenever they're played in the same week. This time they split a Europa League match day over 2 different weeks. So half the games are last week, half the games this week. I didn't know that, because normally it is the same week, the same match day, but it wasn't the case this time. And obviously they changed the format. I know games on more days now, and games in January, which is different. I know some people watching won't know what I'm talking about, but if you watch football in England, you know what I'm talking about. It's just that I didn't know there was a game today, and I live like not far from the stadium. Like there's literally people who park cars in my area to walk to the stadium, even though it's like a 20-30 minute walk. It's only a 10-minute drive. So like, I understand there'd be traffic. I just forgot there was a game. Even though I was getting a lift, I left like 5-10 minutes before the movie started. At the start time before adverts anyway. And I thought, hey, that'd be enough. And then we saw all this traffic. I'm just like, all right, turn left, go down this road. The road we chose was much worse. So maybe that was my fault we were late. But, you know, but I really don't know how much I missed. So I think at some point I'm going to watch the first like 10-15 minutes online, whatever I missed. But yeah, this is your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day and goodbye.